Well, let's look at the markets here, Austin, and oil prices are the culprit here for some down times.
So we are told, yes, and oil is just the price of oil is just crashing through the floor again. We're down. Last I looked at it, we're down around $40 a barrel for crude oil, and that could go lower. And of course, we saw it go lower back at the end of last year. And there's just a glut on the oil markets. Now we've talked about this before, you and I and your listeners, Patrick. But global oil producers, they don't want the United States or Canada or anybody in North America, for that matter, to be big players in the oil energy industry. We've been increasing our output here in the U.S. That's good for American companies. And in the face of that, places like Saudi Arabia, even Venezuela, which has a lot of oil, they've said, well, we'll just produce all the more. We'll flood the market. We'll create a glut. We'll drive the price down and try to drive the Americans back into their shells, I guess, and get them to quit production. So it's a very competitive market. Yeah. And this really does raise issues about our foreign policy and our relations with other countries. But the tanking of the oil prices is really driving oil stocks downward, and that's impacting the whole stock market today.
Austin, there's been some difficult news recently about Americans struggling in poverty in the past week, especially. What about it, and what does it mean for this alleged economic recovery?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up. There was this very striking news story that the Associated Press put together late last week that food banks and food pantries all across the country, in cities big and small across the country, they're not able to keep the shelves stocked, Patrick. They're just there's such a demand for free food giveaways from private nonprofit charities. That tells us that the economy and the alleged recovery is not as awesome as Wall Street would want us to believe, or the dominant media would want us to believe. That also tells us that even though we've got an all-time high consumption rate of food stamps and Medicaid and federal welfare programs, that's still not taking care of people's needs. We've got some problems. It really does matter in our country if people are working or not. We can't just redistribute our way to prosperity. There's real hurting going on. And I think that news, when the AP reported that food pantry story last week, that sent some shockwaves through the intelligentsia, the people in Washington and Wall Street that kind of want to rule our lives. And I hope we're beginning to wake up, but this is a very difficult time.
We're talking to Austin Hill, austinsbigworld.com. Big news here in the Triangle, Austin, and that is the Canadian company Valiant buying a Raleigh-based pharmaceutical.
Yeah. Sprout Pharmaceuticals there in your Raleigh area getting bought up by Valiant. I think one of the things, and I saw some, when you brought this to my attention, and I'd kind of been waiting to see what would happen with this female libido enhancing medication that they were working on. When you brought this to my attention, I saw some people posting online saying, oh, great, the Canadians are taking our business away. Let's understand that companies like Sprout Pharmaceuticals, and I can't say it specifically for them, but companies like them, they get started with the idea of testing and trying and developing something that's really new and then selling it to a larger company. That's kind of the way startups work in the tech industry. It happens in pharmaceuticals as well. So this is not terribly surprising. Latest reports indicate that the CEO of your home-based Sprout Pharmaceuticals, Cindy Whitehead is her name, she's going to remain and continue to manage Sprout as a division of the Valiant company. So hopefully that doesn't mean a whole lot of disruption. This is a huge infusion of cash into Sprout, which is a good thing for local workers and employees. And this could work out. We don't know exactly how it's all going to shake out, but this could work out very, very nicely. So let's hope and pray for the best.
Austin Hill with us here. Austin's Big World. Thank you for showing up here on the truncated week. And we will catch up with you sometime next week, I'm sure.
Look forward to it. Good to have you back, Patrick. Have a great day.
All right, Austin Hill with us here. Nice to speak to him. austinsbigworld.com. Check him out there.